How's it going, everyone? Equinox Phoenix here, and today we are going to talk about the new Disney movie, Soul. Soul follows the life of Joe Gardner. He is a teacher. He teaches band as he gets his big gig as a jazz musician. Dies by falling through a I forget what they're called. The, you know the like giant holes that lead into the sewer. I forget what they're called. That like in the middle of the road and whatnot. Yeah, he falls through one of those. Um, and subsequently ends up in a coma. Although it says he dies. And on his way into the great beyond, he decides, no, I am not going. So he ends up in the great before, as it's described in the movie. From there, he becomes a mentor to Unborn Spirit 22, who has been in the great before for thousands of years and has not yet found their spark that will allow them to go onto Earth. And so, while completely all, and so after technically giving up on 22, they go and they both end up back on Earth. Joe as a cat and 22 in Joe's body. They also meet Moonwind, to get there. I feel like my camera's tilted. I don't think my camera's tilted. I don't know. It just feels like my laptop is tilted. But that's not part of the movie. Anyway, with Moonwind's help, they end up on Earth, and while on Earth, 22 finds their spark, or her spark, I guess. It's confirmed later in the movie that it's a girl. So she finds her spark, and Joe ends up back in his body. But because the way he took her pass to go back to Earth. Joe goes back to his body using the pass. And goes to his gig and achieves his dream, as it were, right? After finding it, he feels kind of like empty inside because it's not his, because he was obsessed with finding purpose, like music is your purpose and whatnot. Like he had like this really weird obsession with finding your purpose and whatnot. But after accomplishing it, he kind of feels empty because it's not really. And he realizes as he's playing piano in his apartment that 22's purpose was just living. For lack of a better, that spark that 22 got that allowed it to complete the Earth Pass, it was living, simply living. And so, after realizing this, he enters the zone where we met Moonwind, um, and re-meets Moonwind, and they go and chase down 22, who has become a lost soul, to give her back the Earth Pass, as well as so that she can, be born and live life, as it were. Unfortunately, this means that Joe cannot return, right? But he's accepting this, right? He's achieved his dream. He found his big break. So he just accepts it and decides to move on to the great beyond. Now, one of the caretakers of souls, I kind of glossed over the fact that there's like a really like numbers obsessed one, because like I don't really like his character. I think they're called Terry. I'm not sure if I think they're called Terrys. Um, uh, info. I'm not sure if it's one of the, if it's just the one I don't like that's called characters. Tina Fey is 22. Yeah, Terry's the. Okay, so they're all Jerry except one of them, which is the one I don't like. Terry, who just caused all sorts of panic. Anyway, so one of the counselor Jerrys goes to Joe as he's finally moving on into the great beyond and tells him they have decided to give him a second chance at life because he helped 22 find her spark. He takes it, and with it, he decides that he's just gonna live his life. He's gonna take a second chance, and he's gonna live his life. This, honestly, this movie was interesting. I really like this movie. I will say it's a great movie. It does have a good message to not obsess over what your purpose in life is or whatnot. To just live your life and not obsess over one thing or another, because if you obsess, as we see with all the lost souls in the zone and whatnot, when you obsess over one particular thing, it becomes all consuming, and you end up not really being a person. You just kind of be like an obsessive trait, like wanting to find your purpose in life is fine, so long as it's not an obsession. And that's actually a really great message to have. You know, just live your life and come what may, so long as you're happy, that is what's important. And honestly, I'm good with a message like that. I actually appreciate it. Like, it's something that I struggle with on a day-to-day basis. Sometimes I get a little obsessive about certain things. Sometimes, depression gets to me. Sometimes anxiety gets to me. But yeah, I definitely enjoyed this movie. As for a score out of 10, mm, I'd say give it a 9 out of 10. It could have been better, right? But it definitely could have been worse. It felt kind of, what's the word? Like there could have been more. Is why I don't give it a perfect 10. It felt like there could have been more, but it was a very enjoyable movie. So, if you guys have seen the movie, tell me your thoughts down in this comment section down below. That's going to be for this video. If you guys haven't already, hit like, hit subscribe if you're new. I will see you guys next time, and as always, stay bright.